Everybody, welcome back to In a Pinch. I'm Chris, and today I am smoking some McClellan St. James Woods in my Heisenberg partially rusticated Canadian-style billiard. Only Jim Brown could produce something like a Canadian-style billiard just off the top of his head. And look at the patterns on this. Isn't that? Anyways, yeah, I'm smoking this in honor of Mike and Mary McNeil. What you did is going to piss off a lot of people, but it was also a show of just absolute unbreakable integrity. I don't know, I understand the people who are upset, and I think it's too bad that some of the things are being said and you gotta expect, especially in the pipe community. No offense to anybody. I'm a member of the pipe community, but by and large, pipers gossip, especially if the story is big. And well, what gets better than the closing McClellan? But yeah, I don't know. To me, it's inspiring and makes me want to stand for something bigger than I already do. That is integrity, man. They've been going since 1977. Not a whole lot of just old school, I don't know, I lost my track of thought. I'm still recovering from being sick last week. I'm still not caught up on sleep or anything, but I wanted to get a video out, because honestly, I love talking about Snuff with people online, but I like talking about more than OSP. I want to talk about more than my own Snuff. I want to talk about other people's Snuff too, and that's what I used to have this channel for. But OSP got really busy again, which is awesome. But that also meant that pretty much all my time online was spent communicating about OSP. Anyways, so yeah, sorry if I'm a little bit out of sorts, and also if you see me shivering at all, I'm out in the garage, and I waited a long time after coming out here to do this review. But you know, I was smoking a pipe and chatting with Ritesh. Shout out to Ritesh. And well, next thing you know, I'm already chilled to the bone and I haven't recorded a damn thing yet. So anyways, welcome to In a Pinch. Today we're talking about Rosinski Oderländer. Now, I'm not 100% sure that I'm pronouncing it right because I don't speak a lick of German, but I'll print the name below here, Oderländer. If anybody can tell me how it's pronounced. If I'm not pronouncing it correctly, please let me know. This is not the original packaging. This is actually a really cool bottle sent to me by Fantastic Floyd on Snuff House. It's just I mean, you can see if the camera doesn't get, yeah, it's just a amber vial, but the way he decorated it with the twine, then going around the cap and the top there, I love this thing, and it's perfect for carrying around something that I would generally take in a boxcar, like Oderländer, which is a Schmalzler. So this comes from Rosinski, and I was about to go on a tangent about you don't have a whole lot of people in the tobacco world left who aren't touched by big tobacco. I have always loved Schmalzers. I love Schmalzers. I know I've done reviews on this channel for Eitel Bayerister, Doppelfermentiert, Doppelaroma, might have done Brazil A. I actually meant to do Jubilaums, but didn't get around to it. But there is information that's been public at the very least since the launch of TPD2 in Europe. All the German snuff makers had to disclose their ingredients and ratios, and so gosh, I'm shivering. Their ingredients and their ratios and such. And I was looking over. One person on Snuff House went ahead and compiled all of it into a PDF, but all of it can be verified by looking for it. I was looking at Purcell and Bernard's, and you know, traditionally Schmalzler is the leaf is sewn up into leather bags that are hung in a hot room to sweat and ferment for months on end, giving it a dark color and a scent of figs and dates and plum, just naturally through the process of breaking the leaf down. And that's what I thought I was getting with things like Atelweisser and Doppelfermentier. And before I even go into this, this is not a slam at all on Purcell or Bernard's. I still carry Klostermischung, which I'm also certain I'm pronouncing wrong. I still carry that in my pocket at least a couple days a week. If I could get my hands on another 20 tap boxes of Atelweisser, I would jump on the opportunity. But the fact is, as it turns out, they were getting the dark color and the scents from primarily powdered tannins and tamarind extract. And I would be lying if I said that didn't piss me off. I mean, I thought that I was getting... They really push it as being traditional. But they're simulating everything about a Schmalzler. Now, at the end of the list, because it covers Purcell and Bernard's, the Swedish American, Swedish Match, Snuffs, and Dr. Rumney, and a handful, and then at the very end of the list, you have one Schmalzler listed by Sternecker, and that was a Sternecker Ek Fresco, which I love. And the only ingredients were tobacco and mineral oil. That was it. Tobacco and oil, and everything else about that snuff was completely natural. The only other person, now that Sternecker is defunct, that you can get real Schmalzler from, readily to the States, is Rosinski. I'll be transparent. Renee and I have been speaking back and forth off and on for the better part of a year now. But I have a tremendous amount of respect for Renee. And the stuff being turned out in Frankfurt, you could make a list of the Rosinskis and throw a fistful of darts, and you'll love everything that you order. See, I took a break from doing snuff reviews, and it did not help with my rambling. Anyways, so we're talking about Rosinski Oderländer. Now, if you order from Rosinski, it's not going to come in jars or vials or boxes. It's going to come in bags like this. It's a nondescript brown bag. There had been a label on it up here, but I took it off to mark a tin that I dumped some of this into to send a friend out in Washington to try. But, you know, it's got your standard European tobacco warning to fulfill their obligation to the European Union. These are actually, before you open them, sealed really well and will keep your snuff fresh for a very long time. I just, it was while I was waiting for this order, so like 3 weeks ago, opened up an envelope of Morgenthau, which is an incredible Rosinski snuff, particularly in the spring. Last year, that became my go-to for when I would go on long walks with my wife or my family, taking the kids out to walk around the woods and whatnot. I'd always bring Morgenthau with me. But, I opened up the Morgenthau, and it was as fresh as the envelope that I opened back in May of last year. Once you do open it, it starts losing moisture rapidly, so you're going to want to have something to decant it into. But if you leave them unopened, it will stay fresh for a really long time. And it's got the number of grams and the production date on it. This one was produced January of 2018, so it's a pretty fresh batch of Schmalzler. Of course, I've never known a Schmalzler to go bad. Rosinski has two Schmalzlers, and I had the other one before. The other one is Frankenfurter. I hate doing German snuffs because I love them, but I butcher the names. But the Frankfurter, I think it's Frankfurter, very woody. Almost, if you were going to have like a strong cedar scented snuff, it actually reminded me a little bit, and I don't want to draw a direct comparison, but it reminded me, it was in the same sphere as Sternecker Staubinger, if you'd had that, where it was damn near like shoving your face into a pile of wood. It was incredible. This is several steps up for me. And again with the rambling, but it's gonna be hard to. I'll start warming up boxcar. That's what I'll do. Show you the grind and moisture, if I can. There we go. Make it a healthy boxcar there. So you can see, if I can not spill it. See, it's already spilling. It is fairly coarse. It's not coarse, but it's not medium either. But it's fairly coarse, very moist and fluffy. It actually has the same texture to me as Italbeirischer, with a little bit more grain. But it's not like the Purcell Schmalzlers that are they kind of feel like wet sand to me. It's very you want to put this in your nose. The smell out of the tin bottle bag, really, it's hard to describe if you haven't had a Schmalzer, but there's like a certain kind of sweetness that every Schmalzer has. It's like the sweetness of dates or figs. And then there's kind of a woody smell. We'll go ahead and take a boxcar. Cheers. Yeah. No such thing as a small pile of Schmalzler. Alright, so in the nose, you first take it and you feel clogged for about 10 seconds. And then everything opens up. The first thing that hits me is wood. And I'm not sure what kind of wood it is, but it's somewhere between spruce and cedar. It could be both. But strong wood notes. And then after that comes this flavor that does not change as long as this is in your nose, and it will stick around for like an hour. The best way I could describe it, dark chocolate covered cherries and coffee. And cedar. Yeah, dark chocolate covered cherries, coffee, and cedar. And I know there's no fruit in this, but if I were to describe the scents, having not read a description, which I have, but I don't remember anymore. I actually, I believe rum is involved, but I don't get any rum at all. I get fresh cut wood, chocolate covered cherries, and coffee. It's just so good. It's one of those snuffs that it is complex, but also it all just kind of draws together into this one general scent and nose feel that lends itself really well to being an easy all-day snuff, and that's exactly what it's been for me. I got this 2 weeks ago, and there has not been a day that I haven't had this bottle filled with Oderländer in my pocket. This is an all-day Schmalzler for me. I could see myself using this in the middle of the summer. Although I know a lot of other people too really only take Schmalzers in the winter, but I could see myself taking this on a hot day. I have not gotten sick of it. I am doing the review injustice by not being able to articulate more of what I'm experiencing with this, but if this helps quantify it, for a very long time, my favorite snuff that was ever produced was Old Mill Kinda Blue. If you guys know me and have got me on the conversation of Old Mill or snuffs that used to be around, Kinda Blue definitely came up in the conversation because I believed that in a lot of ways, that was the pinnacle of snuff making. And the only arguments I can make against Kinda Blue would be other old mills, really. The Samuel Goff Blue Crest I used a lot for a long time, but it wasn't my favorite snuff. It was just what I, could tolerate taking all day as a pleasant biscuity nicotine substitute. But this, I had to think long and hard before saying this, but I was chatting with Ian earlier, and I told him this has replaced Kinda Blue, and I believe this, to my taste, is the best snuff that was ever made. And that's what got me back on here, putting a video up on In a Pinch. It is just absolutely incredible. And Renee offers everything from green snuff, which, if you're not familiar, green snuff is snuff made with only partially or completely uncured leaf. So it's actually green. It looks like chopped up grass in a tin. To brown snuffs and black snuffs and schmalzlers. Everything from very tobacco-centric simple snuffs like Tobacco and Oxenkoff, which are two more of my favorites, to the hyper-complex and almost strange like Alterfritz, a tangerine and black pepper. I mean, it's just, and every single one of them can be used all day, but within that list, this is definitely my favorite snuff. Definitely in existence now, and I'm pretty sure, to my taste, maybe ever made, at least within our lifetime, that I've had the opportunity to try. That's a broad thing to say, ever made, but it's incredible. The back drip tastes like raisins, like chocolate covered raisins. Just everything about this is incredible. The nicotine. You have to be fair when you're judging nicotine on a schmalzler, because nobody takes small pinches of schmalzler. You take fat boxcars, or like one big pinch per nostril, or a big old pile on the back of the hand. Nobody takes an appleseed pinch of schmalzler. Nobody does. You saw the boxcar I took. That's a little bit bigger than I would normally take. The boxcar that I take satisfies me. The boxcar I just took actually kind of has me flying a little bit. If I had to judge the nicotine based on what you get out of a pinch, I'd say it's moderate to low. But being a schmalzer, it's super easy to take large amounts of it, and it won't bother your nose at all. I'm wide open right now, so I'm juicing. But if I had to judge it, by the pinch, it's probably moderate to low. That's the closest thing to a complaint I can think of, honest to God. This is my new all day. I just actually got together with a friend last week and ordered another half pound of this. I'm expecting it Monday. I've never had a Rosinski order, and I've been ordering for 14 months now from Rosinski. I've yet to have an order take longer than 7 days to get to me, and you're paying less than $7. I think you're paying €6. I think it's about €6, and there's no tracking, but they get here in 7 days without fail. I ordered on a Monday, got it on a Monday, and that has been my experience consistently. A lot of you guys might have only encountered Rosinski on Mr. Snuff. If so, you should know that actually buying from Rosinski is significantly cheaper than it was costing you on Mr. Snuff. He did a good job of making it. You can add appeal to something by making it more expensive, and it's just true. When it's more expensive, it becomes the thing that you can't have, and because you can't have it, you want it, and because you want it, you'll pay the extra money for it. So he was charging, I think, it was over $1 a gram, wasn't it, for the Rosinskis? And he only carried a couple of them. The Gold Dopper. He did carry one of the greens at one point. It wasn't Morgenthau. It was I can't remember. Dresner. And let's see, Gold Dopper, Dresner, and something else. He carried 3 or 4 of them, and he was charging over $1 a gram. Renee €2.50 for most of the green, brown, and black snuffs in the 10-gram sachets. It was €4.50 for a 30-gram sachet of this Oderländer Schmalzler. I'll put a link below to the web shop. Be forewarned, the only way to order from Rosinski is through bank transfer, and that turns a lot of people off to Rosinski. I will tell you now that if you want to make an order through Rosinski but don't want to deal with bank transfers, get a hold of me. I'll happily split an order with you. Happily. I'll take care of it. You send me the money, I'll send you receipts and assurance that it has been ordered, and as soon as it gets to me, I'll send it on to you, and we will benefit from each other. It's a beautiful thing. Anyways, that's all I got. Thanks for tuning in. Take it easy, guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. God bless, and salud.